you terrifying, eyeless spark-plug-wood wiki. You will create your fuel conversion formula, and you will power a new generation of Decepticons. Blah, ha 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 ha, etc., etc.
And so on and so forth.
This is Hegemon, not Megatron, honest governor. This was the first attempt at a transforming toy that we know about from Japanese company Toyworld.
Creator of Grindrod?
Creator of Grindrod, yes. It was Grindrod that inspired me to get this guy because it was such an impressive bit of engineering. I thought I'd give this fella a try as well. Also, he met with very good reviews by other people on YouTube, whose reviews you'll probably see when you go looking for this one. Hegemon is, as you can instantly see, it is the original Megatron. He turns into a pretty good approximation of a Walther P-38. He's got excellent articulation. See the classic Toyworld attention to detail there. He's got the flaps, if you'll pardon the expression, that allow his arms to move out to the side without spoiling the look the rest of the time. It's ratcheting shoulders. He's wrist rotation, bicep rotation, hinged elbows. The articulation is the same on each side, which is very impressive given how the two arms transform very differently, which we'll get to in a moment. As you can see, he's got the moves on his legs, thigh rotation, ratcheting. Oh my! Very stiff ratcheting knees.
Yeah.
Ratcheting hips.
Those sound like my knees. Hegemon, see a doctor about that.
Yeah. He's got articulated ankles. Unfortunately, a little bit too articulated. The ankles are a little bit loose.
Yeah.
And they were so out of the box, he has a tendency to fall over.
Yeah, I discovered that earlier while you were out of the room, unfortunately. Had a few problems getting to stand back up again.
Yeah, his head rotates. It goes up and down to a certain extent. It's a greater extent than most figures actually, just because of the way the head transforms, it folds in there. Just notice the Toyworld branding on the inside there. That's a nice touch. Just putting their stamp on it. Good for them. It really looks the part. They still managed to turn it into a realistic looking gun as well, which is very impressive. It comes with an orange cap that I have forgotten to bring with me.
Okay.
But it's quite small, it goes over the end, so you can. It's placed on it when it arrives in the box. So it's probably sensible, but it's not attached, and it just lifts off.
Right. I think that's more of a fig leaf than anything that actually complies with the toy safety rules.
I would think so. I don't think it's really intended very much for the export market. Given the way Toyworld have successfully managed to alienate just about every online store on the internet with their sliding schedules and lack of communication, I think after Aurora, the second Throttlebot, at least 2 online stores that I frequent have refused to stock Toyworld products anymore because they can't be fluffed dealing with them.
Right.
Which is a bit of a shame because they do very good work, and hopefully you'll see the Hegemon as another example. The reason I've turned them around there was so that you can see how much of the gun mode kibble winds up on his back. Very clearly this is a robot designed to be seen from the front.
Yes.
He is very similar to the original Bob Budiansky, John Romita animation model.
Yep. He's also got the he's got the big sort of smokestack for his coal-fired engine.
Yes, he's coal-powered Megatron. He's got his big honking fusion cannon, which is a more appropriate size for the robot mode, and still looks all right in gun mode, which we'll have a look at in a moment, I think. Of course, it would have been remiss of me to pass on the robot mode without mentioning the mountain of accessories that this guy comes with. In addition to the silencer, stock, and silencer, scope, and shoulder stock stroke display stand that he comes with, he also has a mighty selection of melee weapons. He's got his classic flail here.
Yep.
Hold him steady. It comes on a nice little metal chain.
Yes.
It's a very nice touch. The Encore version came with something similar. I think it had a plastic chain.
It was plastic, yes.
I'm not going to hold that against it, but this is a nice touch for the metal chain.
Yep.
Then he has this fantastic little 420 Energon sword here.
Yes.
Apparently Megatron is a bit of a fan of the herb.
Yeah, who knew?
I always thought he was quite a clean living type, what with being a former gladiator and all, but I suppose the cartoon, there was that episode where they all got toppled and
they did, yes,
everyone fell around.
Yeah.
Laser beak flew into the ground. I think it was irresponsible to give young cassettes that much energy on.
Yes, yeah.
But there we go. It was a celebration, and I guess it was just a one-off thing.
Yeah. But well, you know, Megatron is and Hegemon by default are evil leader robots, so it might have one or two vices. So it's not like they're meant to be role models. True.
All right. So now that we've covered that, let's have a crack at getting this guy into gun mode. Now, I mentioned in the Grind Rod review that Toyworld designed some quite intricate but complicated designs, and this is no exception. He's fiddly. I think it's probably easiest to remove the readily removable parts. The end of the barrel and the trigger are both just attached on posts like weapons. You can keep them on and transform it, but it's very difficult, and I don't quite have the manual dexterity to pull it off. You'll also find that these pieces that run down the backs of the thighs, the one on this side tends to pop off.
Yes, I remember that from the first time I encountered Hegemon. I was a little bit worried because that did come off in my hands when I picked him up. My own fault, but
yeah. So he is quite a stressful type. Carl has just alerted me to the fact that the battery is going on my camera.
Yeah, ironic that we're reviewing Hegemon and we need more energy.
How appropriate. But generally that light comes on about, well, a few minutes before you've got to really worry about it. Now, the shoulders are pretty clever. This rotates here, so it's on a kind of double rotation, so that it moves it to the right level while keeping the shoulders level in robot mode, which I really like. And at this side, the arm comes off, the arm swings over with a bit of difficulty. There we go. That was a very nerve-wracking thing to do the first time I transformed it, I have to say. But this time it's not so bad. This whole section, I think, slides that way. Yep, it does. And then it rotates. And then the legs. Oh, the ratchet joints, I really cannot emphasise enough how stiff the ratchet joints are.
Yeah, I think I've heard that.
I felt it running up my arms, and it was slightly disturbing. So there we go, and that goes over here. I think you can start to see what the panels that run down the backs of the thighs are for now. Oh yeah, I couldn't fully extend the legs for a couple of days after I got it the first time because this is very stiff. Oh, you see this has popped up?
Yep.
Alright, not to worry.
Fortunately, they do pop back on again.
Yes. Yes, I'm relieved to say that that's not a permanent injury. This side is very stable though, and that just clips on there. You saw the two tabs at the top, and that folds over. This hip piece actually rotates, so you can have both of these sort of shields running down the backs of the legs. This flips over. Let's see if I can get this round. Whoops, there. Pop that back on. Pop that into place. That goes over there. That goes over here. Oops. There we are. Oh, I forgot about these bits. These hide behind the back. This is very clever. It's got a groove in it, so you can allow the legs to swing past. That flips forward. That goes on there, and this, as you can see, normal Toyworld design. Oh, that slides a bit further. This pops into place in about 4 different locations. It's very, very sturdy.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere once it's properly in place.
Yeah, in gun mode. This flips over. This plugs in 3 places. 2 there and 1 on the leg. There we go. That pops in. Once you get it into position, there we are. It's got a clicky trigger. No, it doesn't. I do apologise. I thought it had a clicky trigger. The trigger is on a spring, so it comes back once you fire it, which is a nice touch. It doesn't fire pellets or anything like that, like the original Japanese Megatron.
It's a little bit complicated to get that in.
Yeah, that would have been the difference between a good design and a how did they do this?
Yeah.
Is this magic? And there we are. There's
one classic Walther P38.
Yep. Not just a gun, but a gun that was popular with the upper echelons of the German military around the 1930s and 40s.
Yes, and also agents of the United Network Command for Law and Enforcement in the 1960s.
Yeah. This is not just a gun, but potentially Hitler's gun that makes it a superb mode for the leader of the evil robots.
I've never really looked at it that way, but when you make that point, yeah.
Intimidating, isn't it? And there's a nice design where you can actually keep the fusion cannon plugged into the arm.
Oh,
and keep it in place and just swivel it round.
Okay.
If you have the manual dexterity to pull something like that off. And this clips on the bottom. And I don't really know what you do with that. So I guess you can.
Those are meant to fold out flat.
Yeah. See, as a shoulder stock, a shoulder stock really should go up and down.
Yeah. Does that not
It doesn't
turn?
rotate. No.
Oh. Yeah.
See, even in gun mode, it is more of a display.
Yeah.
Stand than it is.
Yeah, that's not quite properly going to fit your shoulder.
So that doesn't really fit the function, which is a shame. The accessories work well for what they do, but in this mode it is just a chunk that sits on the back of the gun rather than being a functional piece, which is a shame because a rotation joint there would at least have made it look the part with the stands out to the side. I honestly thought that's what it would do.
Well, looking at it, that was my assumption.
There we are. So that's a bit of a shame. Otherwise, it's a very cool.
It's very nice.
Gravity gun.
Yeah, I wouldn't take it out in public for obvious reasons.
No, this is never going outside of the four walls of either Toy-Fu headquarters or here at Carroll Central as well.
Yeah.
Yes. So there we are.
It's a very nice looking piece in every sense of the word.